country. We only tolerated Catholicism in this country. Okay? And it was based on Protestantism and escaping religious persecution. We don't want religious draconianism, but we don't want secular draconianism either. And that's what we've been going toward. Okay, more and more and more, it's just accepted that the state has more authority, more control, and it can be very, very, what's the term I'm thinking of? Draconian. I mean, it's too authoritarian. It's too capricious. Okay, it's too arbitrary, and it's not based on anything that makes any sense. In other words, when you break a rule, when you break a law, a regulation, a code, it's an immoral thing. It's like you didn't put your money in your meter when you parked, and now you're going to be penalized. You're being punished, right? That's the way the state will spank you. You understand? That's it. You got spanked. You did something wrong, right? Because obviously I'm being hurt in the pocketbook. I got to pay this parking ticket, right? So all our laws have to be based on something people understand. So they've got us to believe that this all somehow makes sense. And it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. The entire secular world system is crazy. Okay, but they want you to trust in it. They want you to believe in it. They want you to conform to it, comply, and capitulate. And just don't question it. Just accept that somehow it all makes sense. Just do what they tell you to do. Okay, you go to school. This is it. And you get an education. You decide on your career. You stick to it. And you got to make a lot of money. You got to have that financial security. That's your freedom. That's it. That's your success. That's being somebody. That's stature and status. And that's being a winner, okay? Because you don't want to be the other. And anybody that doesn't follow this path, okay, deserves to be a loser, okay? And society is very prejudiced against people because of their financial stature. I mean, it's just a default position. It's just a given, of course. You got money and, you could pay bail and get out of jail. Okay, well, that means the rich could commit crimes, right? Because they can always just pay bail, right? But the poor, no, you got to stay in jail because you can't afford to pay bail. You can't afford your crime. If you could afford your crime, then you can commit the crime. It's sick and twisted. That's the world we live in that I'm told that I should follow and comply and conform to without question. It's sick. It's twisted. It's evil. I mean, that's the world we live in. And it should be no surprise because apart from God, and that is the secular world, it's pagan for the most part. It's anti-religious. It says, if you're religious, no, get away from us. Separation of church and state. Get away, get away, get away. Get out of our schools. Get out, get out. We want mass murderers. We want to crack down on the guns. It's the guns that are killing, not crazy people because of a crazy society that keeps trying to kick God out of our country every which way they can. That's the cause. It's the guns. It's not the crazy-ass world we're told to make people, hey, no, you don't question it. Just somehow it all makes sense. Just accept it. Poor people are bad people. They deserve to live out in the cold and die out in the cold. Hey, they're not willing to be a criminal. Then you'll get rewarded. 3 hots in a cot. Huh? Yeah, free electricity. Free water. Huh? At $100,000 a year for the taxpayers. Those are the winners. Those are the winners that find themselves behind bars. Out of sight, out of mind. But you're not willing to commit a crime? No soup for you. No 100,000, no 50,000, no 25,000, no 10,000. Nothing. You're bad. And yet Jesus said, I'm the least of men. And if these people, these downtrodden out there, the homeless, aren't the least among men, I don't know who is. And Jesus said, that's me. Then we call ourselves a Christian nation. And I talk about our Protestant roots, our Christian roots, escaping religious persecution, authoritarianism that came from the Catholic Church. The Pope du jour, wielding his power, the Antichrist, the substitute for Christ, the stand-in, the original meaning of the word anti. Anti didn't originally mean opposed to or against, the way it's evolved or devolved, however you want to look at it, same thing to today. And that happens with a lot of words. They just gently evolve over the years. Well, the evil men don't like you to know that, so let's kind of hide that, and this is how we'll do it around it. Well, it's sort of related. Substitute, stand in, oppose, against. You can make the tie, right? That's the world we live in. So people should know our history. They should know something about history, the brief history, American history, and your own family history and how it affects you. You should know about the original sin and the fall of man, how you're affected profoundly by that fall and the subsequent curse. All of us are. It's in our genetics, our DNA. We're walking around in bodies of death, facing death day in and day out. It's amazing any of us is sane. How can we cope in this? It's crazy, man. Any day our ticket could get punched. We don't know. It's very insecure. This little bit of time we have, we make plans for the future and all this crap. We don't know if we're going to be around tomorrow. None of us do. That's a fact. Nobody can argue that fact. All these diseases, all these natural disasters, God knows how many people are dead in Syria and Turkey now. Oh, what the hell's wrong? Why can't they build these buildings properly? I mean, do what you have to do, but you can't go through that every time there's a freaking earthquake. This is crazy. You're going to blame God? No. Blame evil. Evil got a lot of power when we were tricked, deceived, when we fell as a species. Sorry, I know you didn't do it, I didn't do it, but it's done. We now can comprehend what the term sin means. We know, and we shouldn't know. We know now that we're naked when we're naked. We know. We shouldn't know. You understand? The first thing God asked, Adam, why are you hiding from me after the original sin, the fall of man? You know, the fig leaf thing, you tying the fig leaf over his genitals, right? And Eve covering herself, right? What were we, why are you ashamed? Who told you you were naked, you see? That's the knowledge. Right there. It goes deep. So we're gullible, and we bought into money hard. And we didn't ever need money any more than any other creature needs money. And look how addicted we all are now. Look at it. They've made it so we all need it more and more. We're all more and more financially insecure, scared, fearful. It's a fear-driven society. If you don't have money, man, it's curtains. Might as well kill yourself. I mean, if you don't have money, live like the homeless. One night out in this cold, I'd be dead. The weather, man, I watch the weather sometimes. It's 36 degrees in Chico. Hell no, it isn't. Look, my thermometer is very accurate almost every time. It matches up, but they got it wrong this time. It was 30 degrees. It was below freezing. And, it's getting late in the year. We've had a lot of freezing days this year. And they want to stop global warming. Well, maybe they're doing it with this chemtrailing. At least locally. They're melting the glaciers, bringing that cold air to us, maybe doing something like that. But they don't know what the junk science behind the high-altitude aerosolized spraying, geoengineering. Yeah, it's junk science. Science shows that it's going to warm the planet ultimately, like a blanket, just like cloud covers warm the planet. On a cold day, if you get clouds, we all know it's warmer when it rains, typically. Oh, anyhow, friends, listen, we're in a world of hurt because of evil men, really. They're ultimately in control. And most of them like to hide in the shadows. They don't, so that's why I say, it's the politicians are just minions for these people. Who's getting their whim is unseen. It's like that dark satanic force. It is like a spirit, evil spirit that these people are following. That's the playbook. Okay, they don't want the masses to be free. In order to be free, we must be financially free, and we could work toward that gradually. If we had any semblance of true capitalism involving supply and demand, then we would have less and less burden. We would become more and more free. You understand? More and more financially secure, financially free. Okay, because we find easier, we as a species find easier and easier methods to produce all the things we want and need. Not harder. It doesn't get harder. It gets easier. State-of-the-art tools, equipment, machinery, all this stuff has made it very easy to mass produce a lot of stuff, including houses, automobiles, you name it, right? We all know that. So at this point in history, for us to be denying others justice by denying them dignity, basically, because, oh, you don't have the money, you can't afford dignity. I mean, that's the world we live in. Make sense out of that. That's it. It's all about money. It's all about money, and it's sick. And we could get off it gradually, but they won't. That is the worst possible scenario for these people. They do not want universal freedom. They do not want universal security. That means us being out of fear, financial fear at least. And they don't want universal prosperity. These are antithetical to their wants. And that's why they're getting their way, because they got the power of the purse. And when you think about who backs them up, when you think about law enforcement, the court system, all the military branches out there, that's what, in their sick, twisted minds, they think they have at their disposal. The good thing in America is that a lot of our law enforcement are thinking human beings now. They're smart. They're smarter than the evildoers. See, if you're smart, you care about things like your conscience, like your integrity, like your soul. You have self-imposed boundaries, and you say, no, I don't like where that's going, and you refuse to go against the golden rule just by your godly nature, your godly instinct. You follow the command of God. And a lot of people in our military do that, and a lot of people in our law enforcement branches do that, agencies, whatever. You understand? So we're lucky to be Americans. That's why I say I'm glad, even though I bitch and moan about America, and I'm ashamed of it at this point in history, for good cause, friends. I mean, calling ourselves a Christian nation, neglecting the downtrodden, willing to spend $100,000 a year on criminals, rapists, and murderers, thugs. Ugh. You, the taxpayer, you're doing that. You're culpable. I'm culpable. We're all culpable. They're forcing us to be culpable. You understand? You must pay. If you don't pay, there are powerful ramifications. You don't pay your taxes, right? We all know that. So you're forced to support this system, this pagan world system. Let's call the United Nations. Why is this homeless crisis thing been going on for 30 years? What the hell use is the United Nations? Let's get them into California. Hey, come on to L.A. What's wrong? Oh, you afraid? What's going on here? Huh? You just don't want to expose the beast? What we've become here in America? Fallen nation. I want to be proud of America. But until we take care of the least among men, Jesus Christ out there on the street, I'm going to be ashamed. I'm appalled. I can't be happy. I mean, metaphorically, it makes me want to slash my wrists. Run, not walk. Escape. You wonder why people get involved in all these drugs and vices and addictions and all this crap? That's it, friends. They're trying to anesthetize themselves just to cope. They can't believe that the world is so freaking crazy. Even if they're not consciously thinking about it, it's there, like that spirit, a blob of misery that we're all going to get our share of. That's it, through osmosis. I mean, if your fellow man is suffering needlessly. How many times? It's needless. You understand? It's being done on purpose. It's being inflicted upon them. They're being denied justice. It's wrong, it's evil, it's immoral, it's ungodly. We don't have any laws protecting these people. It's sick. That's the world we live in, yet we're going to go engage in wars over here and there and then leave, what is it, 80-something billion dollars worth of armaments, people hanging on planes and everything else, trying to, oh, don't abandon us, don't abandon us. Jesus Christ, I mean, you think I should be proud of this country at this point in history? Really? Really? You know, I wish I could, but I'm heartbroken. I'm freaking sick.